Many people have been labeling the upcoming Errol Spence Mikey Garcia fight as the puncher versus the boxer. Spence is a very big welterweight who has the best power in the division. Garcia, who began his career at featherweight, will be fighting at 147 pounds for the first time in his career and is widely regarded as being one of the most skilled fighters in the sport. Spence, who holds wins over Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson, doesn't quite agree with that assessment. During a recent press conference in Arlington, Texas, Errol Spence said that while he does have concussive power, he also has the skills that the general public are underestimating. He said, "I just feel like true boxing people know real skills. All the guys who say I'm a brute, or I just come forward and knock people out, don't really know anything about boxing." He says, "If you read into what I am doing, I am not knocking people out in the first round. I am breaking them down physically and mentally. Even the Lamont Peterson fight, I was setting him up with my jab and catching him and picking him off, and I broke him down and took him out. And I just feel like a lot of people get it misconstrued because just because when I have an opponent hurt or have them beaten up and I go in for the kill instead of playing it safe and not going for the knockout." He says, as for his training for the Garcia fight, Spence says it's business as usual. He said that he is going 100% and not letting up his sparring. The sparring partners have been very physical. My sparring is very physical. He said, "I don't take it easy on my sparring partners. I don't have no mercy on them at all. If I can stop them, I stop them. You already know my sparring is rough. I have no friends in sparring." That's what Spence said. Yeah, man, let's talk about it. And it's funny too, because I just did a big video about this a few weeks ago, talking about the big misconception about Errol Spence. And I wouldn't be surprised if Errol Spence seen that video, okay? Because I've seen the other interviews that he actually said he watched certain boxers on YouTube. He has news videos. And I did a few big videos about Errol Spence Jr. One was the misconception about him not being able to box. And the other one I did was the calm before the storm, why he was actually being, why everybody was wondering why wasn't much noise coming from his camp. And I honestly believe Errol Spence probably saw those videos because they're obviously about him. But he's saying basically exactly what I was saying in my video. Okay, he's saying the exact same thing, that a lot of people get his boxing ability mixed up. And they can't see the fact that he can actually box because he knocks guys out and gets them out of there. And we know that Errol Spence's his power, the way he fights, is not one punch knockout power. Not saying that he doesn't have one punch knockout power. That can be debated. But what we see time and time again, almost in a pattern type form, is how he consistently wears his opponents down with the jab. He leads with the jab real well. He goes down to the body and upstairs real well. He breaks his opponents down. His physicality is usually much better than his opponents. His endurance is much better. And he breaks them down and then goes in for the kill. Okay, so we know a lot of people out there in the boxing community that really talk a lot of crap about how Errol Spence can't box. He doesn't move his head enough. He's a one-trick pony. He just goes to the body well and then stop you and break you down. But the guy can box, man. And I did that in the video earlier, and I also showed a few of the clips of when he was actually fighting. I think when he was fighting Lamont Peterson, he showed some pretty good head movement. He showed some pretty good boxing skill in that fight as well. And also when he was fighting Chris Algieri, I dropped a couple things in there about that as well, man. So he's basically just restating exactly what I stated in my video and proves what I'm saying is right. But when it comes down to the Mikey Garcia fight, okay, I personally don't think that he has to prove anything to anybody in this fight, but simply to go in here and get the win and make it look destructive. Okay, I hope Errol Spence doesn't go in here trying to prove a point, to try and prove that he can outbox Mikey Garcia and let this fight go 12 rounds. I think Errol Spence should do exactly what he's always done. He needs to go in here, try to break his opponent down, slowly hit him to the body, hit him up top, break him down, and then try to go in for the kill, man. I don't think he should do anything any different than he usually do. He's, if it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what the naysayers say. I don't care all the people that talk a whole bunch of junk about, oh, Errol Spence is unproven and this and that. If I'm Errol Spence Jr., I go in here and do exactly what I've been doing. You know what I'm saying? Train hard, do your thing, work on your game plan, watch film, all that good stuff. Come fight night, come March 16th, he needs to just go in there and do exactly what he's done over the last 11 fights. And as to break his opponents down, take his time, break them down, and then eventually go in for the kill and stop his opponent in grand fashion. And I think that's what he'll do. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what Errol Spence Jr. do. I don't see no reason why he should switch anything up. You know what I'm saying? Don't switch it up. And then also when it comes down to his sparring, he definitely spars extremely rough. He goes in there. He don't play around with his opponents in sparring. Another thing too, I saw just recently this morning, ES News dropped a video on coming out of Mikey Garcia's gym, and it was basically he was showing Mikey Garcia's sparring partners for this Errol Spence fight, and they were all pretty much training on the heavy bag. A couple of his sparring partners, I think, is going to be fighting within the same day or either the day before the Mikey Garcia Spence fight. And one of the guys also is one of his sparring partners is fighting on the undercard. And I don't remember exactly his name, but if y'all want to go check it out on ES News channel, he dropped that video probably about an hour before I'm recording this right now. He got his sparring partners up there, man. So it seems like Mikey Garcia, to me, is showing so much stuff that's coming out of his camp that I'm not too sure that that's a good idea. Okay, he's been showing a lot of snack training. He's been showing a lot of mitt work, a lot of heavy bag work. Now he's showing his sparring partners on the bags and stuff like that. So it seems like, there's so much transparency coming out of his camp that I'm not sure if that's a good thing, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too sure that's a good thing, because it seems like you let the other person know too much what you're doing. They're going to be reading up on your game plan. They're going to be knowing what you're doing. And I think what Errol Spence Jr. is doing in his camp is what you should be doing. Not letting a lot of people in, not letting too much people know what you're doing, not letting too much people know what you look like. And I think that's a game plan. If you show your opponent your hand, then you can't consider it cheating. You know what I'm saying? When they win. So it is what it is. I just thought that was interesting how Errol Spence Jr., in that interview, I think it was an interview on the second press conference, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been on the PBC face-to-face, but I think it was that second press conference. He's basically just letting everybody know that, look, man, everybody keeps saying I can't box, and everybody keeps saying I don't have boxing skill. But Errol Spence doesn't just go in there and charge forward and beat guys up. He actually has a method to his madness. He has a way that he does this thing. You know what I'm saying? He don't just run in there like Margarito with his head down and just try to brawl it out and you know what I'm saying, and just not being smart, get hit in the head and looking all crazy and getting bruised up and bumped up. That's another thing too. Errol Spence Jr. In his fights, I've never seen him bruised, busted up, never had a cut like that. So a lot of people make it seem though he's just a horrible boxer and that there's so much that you can exploit. But when you really think about it, nobody has been really doing that. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of people has been getting in there and able to hurt him. And I was watching the Kell Brook fight this morning as well. One of the things that I noticed from Kell Brook fight that I think that he handled extremely well, that I don't think Sean Porter handled well when he fought Kell Brook. And that is the fact that Kell Brook, when he fights, he's a very clinchy type of fighter. Like when you get in the exchanges with him, he clinches and holds a lot. And that's one of the things that I was watching this morning. Me and my lady was watching it, and we pointed out the fact that Kell Brook holds a lot. He wasn't allowing Errol Spence early on in the fight to really get his work done. You know what I'm saying? I think that's pretty much the only problem that Errol Spence would have had with Kell Brook, is the fact that he clinched up a lot. And we've seen guys like Sean Porter, when he fought against Kell Brook, that was the main issue in that fight. And it just goes to show how Errol Spence has that endurance, he has that boxing ability, he has that fight and that dog in him to be able to get through such situations, because that wasn't an easy situation when he fought Kell Brook, how Kell Brook kept clinching like that. He was countering Errol Spence early, and then he'll clinch him up. But you can tell that Errol Spence just got that dog in him to where he just kept going and kept going. One time I seen that he hit Errol Spence, and Errol Spence went back into the ropes. And as soon as Kell Brook tried to pounce on him, guess what? Errol Spence kind of locked up with him. He kind of turned him around, and then he went to going to work. Straight body shots, straight head shots, and he got himself out of trouble real quick. So I think Errol Spence shows a lot of boxing ability, man. He doesn't quite get enough credit for his ability, man. But I think we're gonna see that in these upcoming fights, man. So hopefully we can get the Crawford Spence fight after the Mikey Garcia fight, which I don't think will happen. I think he's gonna end up getting either the Manny Pacquiao fight and then the Sean Porter fight by the end of the year. So we'll see, man. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comment section. Drop your hate, likes, comments, subscribe, all that good stuff down there, and I'll be back with some more videos.